By Friday evening, most people have a quiet little picture in their head of what the weekend will be. Space. 2 slower days. No inbox pressing at the edge of your attention. No alarm dragging you up before you're ready. No eating breakfast while part of your mind is already dealing with Monday, Tuesday, and whatever you forgot to reply to. But then the weekend actually arrives. And very often, the first thing you feel is not rest. It's the washing basket, full again. It's the kitchen, still carrying the evidence of the week. It's the bag left by the door, the letters on the table, the half-empty fridge, the clothes over the chair, the calendar you haven't really looked at since Wednesday. None of it is a crisis. That's what makes it easy to ignore. Nothing is broken. Nothing is urgent, but everything is quietly asking for a little bit of attention. And that is the part we often underestimate. You may have stopped working, but your environment hasn't stopped speaking. Every unfinished thing becomes a small, open loop. Not loud enough to force action, but present enough to stop you from properly switching off. So the weekend slips away in a strange way. Saturday becomes avoidance because the house feels too heavy to start. Then Sunday evening arrives, and suddenly the quiet things are not quiet anymore. Laundry, food, work bag, Monday clothes, a clear surface, a basic plan. Some sense that you are not walking into the new week already behind. This is where the 48-hour Japanese weekend reset becomes useful. Not because it turns the weekend into a cleaning project, and not because the home needs to look perfect by Sunday night. It is much simpler than that. The idea is to use the weekend to remove the friction that would otherwise be waiting for you on Monday morning. Not all at once. Not with a burst of energy that leaves you exhausted. But in a clear sequence. Saturday resets the physical environment. Sunday resets the mental environment. That separation is important, because when everything is mixed together, your mind turns the whole weekend into one large, vague problem. Clean the house, get organized, prepare for the week, sort everything out. That sort of task has no clear edge. So, you delay it. And the longer you delay it, the heavier it feels. A sequence gives the mind something easier to follow. First, this. Then that. One layer today, another layer tomorrow. In many Japanese-inspired home systems, there is a quiet respect for transitions. The entrance of a home, the end of a meal, the closing of a day, the preparation before a new beginning. Not as a perfect cultural rule, not as something romantic or decorative, just as a practical way of recognizing that life feels easier when endings are completed before the next thing begins. A weekend reset works in that same spirit. It helps the weekend properly, so the next week does not begin with leftovers. On Saturday, the focus is physical. This is the day for the visible things. Laundry, kitchen, bins, fridge. The surfaces that collect random objects because nobody had enough energy to decide where they should go. Start with the laundry. Not because laundry is the most important job in the house, but because it gives you a rhythm. You put one load on, and while the machine is running, something is already in motion. That matters more than it sounds. A lot of household routines fail because we wait to feel ready first. We wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right clean stretch of time. But most of the time, readiness comes after movement. The washing machine starting in the background tells your mind quietly, "We have begun." You do not need to clean the whole home. You only need to begin the reset. Gather the clothes from the places they have drifted to during the week. The chair, the bathroom floor, the end of the bed, the bag you used on Thursday and haven't unpacked yet. Do not turn this into a judgment about yourself. Clothes move because life moves. The reset is not a punishment for being untidy. It is the return path. Once the first load is on, go to the kitchen. A kitchen is rarely just a kitchen by the end of the week. It becomes a kind of record. Cups from late evenings, lunch containers from rushed mornings, crumbs near the toaster, a pan that was left to soak and has now somehow become part of the room. The aim is not to deep clean every cupboard. The aim is to make the kitchen usable again. Clear the sink. Wipe the main surface. Put away what already has a home. Remove what does not belong there. That is enough to change how the room feels. A usable kitchen changes the next decision you make. When the kitchen is messy, cooking feels difficult before you've even started. When the surface is clear, even a simple meal feels more possible. This is one of the quiet realities of habit design. Your environment often decides how hard a good choice feels. You may think you lack discipline because you ordered food when you meant to cook. But if the sink is full, the fridge is unclear, and the worktop is crowded, cooking is not one decision. It is several decisions before you even touch the food. Where do I put this? What pan is clean? What needs throwing away? What can I actually make? By the time you have answered those questions, ordering something feels like relief. Clear space reduces negotiation. After the kitchen, deal with rubbish and recycling. It is a small job, but it changes the atmosphere of a home quickly. Taking rubbish out is a physical way of saying, this part of the week is finished. It removes smell, clutter, packaging, and that low background feeling of delay. Keep it simple. Empty the kitchen bin. Check the bathroom bin. Clear packaging from the hallway or the corner where it is gathered. Take recycling to where it belongs, and then stop there. Do not let this turn into a full decluttering session. That is how Saturday becomes too heavy. A weekend reset is not a dramatic edit of your belongings. It is maintenance. There is a difference. Decluttering asks, what should I keep? Resetting asks, what needs to be returned, removed, or prepared so life can move again? Then check the fridge. Not with the ambition of becoming a perfectly organized meal planner. Just open the door and look properly. What is still good? What needs using soon? What has quietly expired? What basic thing is missing that will make Monday harder? Milk, eggs, rice, soup ingredients, salad, bread, fruit. Something simple for lunch. The point is to reduce surprise. A chaotic fridge does not only waste food, it creates uncertainty at the exact moment when you are tired and hungry. And uncertainty takes energy. It makes you stand there with the door open, looking for an answer that is not really there. A short fridge check on Saturday gives Sunday a calmer place to start. By the end of Saturday, the home does not need to be perfect. It only needs to feel lighter. The laundry is moving. The kitchen is usable. The rubbish is gone. The fridge is no longer a complete mystery. That is enough. A good reset should leave you with more energy than it takes from you. This is why it helps to stop before you are exhausted. Many people clean in bursts of frustration. They let things build up, then one day they attack the whole home in one intense session. It works for a moment. But it also teaches your brain that order is painful. A calmer system teaches something else. Order can be returned in layers. Saturday is one layer. Sunday is another. Sunday has a different feeling. It is not mainly about cleaning. It is about lowering Monday's resistance. This is the mental reset. It is the day when you prepare the small things your future self would otherwise have to decide under pressure. Start with clothes. Choose what you will wear on Monday, and perhaps the first few days of the week, if that suits the way you live. It sounds almost too simple, which is probably why people ignore it. But clothing is one of those decisions that only feels small when you are not in the middle of it. On Monday morning, when you are half awake and a little rushed, even an ordinary choice can create friction. Where is that shirt? Is it clean? Does this jumper go with these trousers? Why is the thing I wanted still damp? Choosing clothes on Sunday is not about being strict or overly organized. It is about removing one unnecessary decision from a part of the day that is already sensitive. Lay the clothes out, or place them together in the wardrobe. Make the choice visible. The aim is not to create a perfect outfit. The aim is to make Monday easier to enter. Then write down 3 important things for the week. Not 12. Not a full productivity system. 3. This matters because the mind does not usually calm down in front of a huge list. A long list can give you the feeling of being organized while quietly increasing the pressure. 3 important things give the week a center. They might be work tasks. They might be personal. They might be very ordinary. Book the appointment. Finish the proposal. Prepare the school form. Cook at home 3 evenings. Call someone back. The rule is simple. If these 3 things move forward, the week will feel less stuck. You are not trying to control every hour. You are giving your attention somewhere clear to return to. After that, plan a few simple meals. Again, do not turn this into a performance. You do not need a color-coded menu or a week of new recipes. You need fewer moments where hunger meets confusion. Choose 2 or 3 basic meals you can repeat or adapt. Soup and bread. Rice with vegetables and eggs. Pasta with a simple sauce. A tray bake. Something you genuinely eat, not something your ideal self saved months ago and never made. The Japanese-inspired part here is not about copying a specific cuisine. It is the principle of simplicity, repetition, and respect for what is already available. Use what needs using. Keep meals easy to begin. Let the ordinary become reliable. A calmer week is often built for meals that do not require a debate. After food, reset your work surface. This might be a desk. It might be the kitchen table. It might be a small corner of a room where your laptop always seems to end up. Clear away cups. Remove papers that are no longer active. Put pens back. Charge what needs charging. Place one notebook, one list, or one clear starting point where you will see it. The surface you begin from matters. A cluttered desk does not only look messy, it asks your attention to sort through the past before you can begin the present. A clear desk says, "Start here." Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough. This is how environmental cues work in normal life. We like to think we act from pure intention, but a lot of our behavior is guided by what is immediately in front of us. If your desk is ready, beginning work takes less force. If your bag is packed, leaving the house takes less searching. If your keys have a place, the morning contains one less small panic. The final part of Sunday is the easiest to skip, and it may be the part that makes the whole reset feel complete. 15 minutes of quiet. Not scrolling. Not planning. Not tidying while listening to something. Just 15 minutes where the week is allowed to settle in your mind. Sit with a cup of tea. Look out of the window. Take a slow walk. Stay in a quiet room after the home has been brought back to order. This is not a spiritual performance. It is simply a pause. A way of letting your attention catch up with your life. Most people move from one week into the next without any clean edge. Friday collapses into Saturday. Saturday disappears into errands. Sunday becomes low-level anxiety. Monday arrives like an interruption. 15 minutes of quiet gives the weekend an ending. And endings help beginnings. The 48-hour reset works because it respects energy. It does not ask the same version of you to do everything. Saturday uses the more physical, practical energy of the weekend. Move things, wash things, clear the spaces that have become heavy. Sunday uses a softer kind of attention. Choose, prepare, reduce decisions, create a small sense of direction. Neither day has to be full. In fact, it works better when it is not. A reset that consumes the weekend will not last. A reset that protects the weekend has a better chance. The point is not to become the sort of person who is always organized. That idea is too fragile anyway. The point is to build a home rhythm that helps you recover when normal life becomes untidy. Because it will. Clothes will pile up again. The kitchen will get used again. Plans will change. A busy week will leave traces. The goal is not to prevent mess forever. The goal is to know how to return. That is what makes a system calming. Not perfection. A clear return path. So this weekend, try thinking of the 2 days a little differently. Saturday is for clearing what the week has left behind. Laundry moving. Kitchen usable. Rubbish gone. Fridge checked. Sunday is for lowering the resistance of what comes next. Clothes ready. 3 priorities written. Simple meals chosen. Desk cleared. 15 quiet minutes. Small enough to repeat. Plain enough to trust. By Monday morning, the house may not look like a magazine. It does not need to. But the floor is clearer. The fridge makes more sense. Your clothes are not a question. Your desk is not arguing with you before the day begins. And something in your mind has softened because the week no longer feels like it is arriving all at once. A good weekend does not only help you recover from the week that is past, it helps you enter the next one with less resistance. And sometimes, that is the difference between a life that always feels like it needs catching up and a life that quietly begins to feel more livable.